Welcome to Gaming with MJ and Blue.
Let's talk gaming. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are a podcast about gaming. We talk weekly news as well as we try to focus in on Minecraft a little bit, Hytale. Also, we do other things too. We like to talk about all kinds of gaming topics, past and present. Also, any kind of console, PC, whatever you want to talk about, we talk about it. So let's get into it. So, what were you up to last week, Blue?
So as far as me, I was doing a lot more, not specific gaming, but working on things with games. So I was playing around with something on my server computer. So I have just a server computer. It's my old PC. I use it for my movies. But I also was trying to play around with something called Squid servers. So this is a front end, and it's honestly one of the easiest ways I've ever seen to create a Minecraft server on a personal computer. So for Windows. So for me, I was able to set it up, and easily I could create whatever kind of server I want. Right now, I was just playing around with it. I have a niece who loves to play Minecraft right now, but she is on her iPad. That's all she has. So that means she is primarily a Bedrock player. Now, personally, I'm not a huge Bedrock player myself. I have played with her on my iPad. It's not the best experience, which I mean, I already knew that anyway. But with Squid servers, it was kind of a really cool thing because they had an easy one-click install of a program that allows Bedrock players to join a Java server. So it was literally just a one-click, boom, set it up. Now I have a server that I can play on with my nieces, and they'll be able to play around with it. So I did that because I thought it'd be a nice option for them. I tried a couple other different programs before. There was one called I think it was MC Soft or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it did the same thing. It was a good program. It didn't feel as streamlined as Squid servers is, and so I'm a fan of it. I MJ, you probably would be able to tell me by looking at it if there's potentially security concerns. I don't think there is, but it has been emphasized quite a few times that I've seen so far. So hopefully it's safe and secure. But it just seemed like a good option for someone who maybe doesn't feel like spending a ton of money. They have a computer lying around and they'd like to host a little Minecraft server. Granted, if you're doing that, you probably can't run a very powerful server. You might only be able to have a few people on and it run okay. It really kind of depends on your CPU and your RAM and all that. But yeah, it was fun to mess around with. I think like 16 gigs of RAM in my server computer. Nothing amazing, but enough where I could potentially run a couple different servers on it. Which you can do. That's another cool thing. Maybe this is standard, MJ. Maybe you know this, but or maybe you've already done this. But you can run multiple servers at once if you wanted to. But it just you got to keep in mind that's going to really eat up your computer's resources. So being able to run my movie server and a Minecraft server is probably the limit. Trying to run multiple servers on top of that, maybe not the best idea. If I had maybe a more of a powerful computer, who knows? I will say I do want to eventually get rid of my old PC and get a Mac Mini and run my servers off of one of those. It may require eventually upgrading the RAM a little bit, but um, everything I've seen about Mac Minis, partially why I want one of those is the size, the form factor. It's quite compact, which is phenomenal. I feel like my whole computer area is a bit cluttered, and I have a massive computer behind my monitors that's for my server, and it's like if I can reduce size, I would really like that.
Not that I'm
But anyway,
criticizing. Not that I'm criticizing because I
yeah.
love Macs, but why Mac? There's
Uh,
B-Link. You can get those little B-Link servers. They're small.
well, for the price, Mac Minis are $500-600, I think.
Hmm.
For the price to performance ratio and the quality. That's the thing is like, I know a lot of people have their issues with Mac, but you can never ever deny that they have make a quality product. And I'm just talking mechanical wise. Like the way the computer is, the way it functions, it's not something that is plastic that feels like is going to break easily. So number one, the build quality is phenomenal, and number two, it's powerful. Like even if you watch people like Linus Tech Tips on YouTube, he goes into these things and he talks about the Mac Mini. He talks about how impressively powerful this thing is for such a small form factor. And you also got to factor in reliability. Apple is very reliable with updates. They will keep up with your device for quite a while. So when you factor all of those things together, and especially for use case, because that's another thing you got to factor in use case. One of the biggest issues people have as far as Mac side seems to be that it's limited in what gaming can happen on it. You have to run other programs in order to get gaming to work properly. Again, MJ, you know this better than I do, but um, you have to do a little bit more work in order to get gaming to work properly on a Mac. It's
If
not
you have a
Mac's
Windows
fault,
only game, yeah.
and that's the problem. And you've mentioned this before. A lot of
Yeah.
times, developers are not making games that work on everything. It's usually Windows, and that's might be it, or maybe console, but Mac sometimes gets left in the dust. So you got to factor in use case too. So if you're looking for something that's you're just planning on wanting something that you can play games that primarily are only available on Windows, you're not going to want to get a Mac. It's not going to make any sense for your use case. So for me, it's a little bit different. So I have that use case. I have um, what I want to use it for. It will be able to handle. And as far as I can tell, maybe other than maybe upgrading the RAM after a while, which who knows how long it'd be before I could do that, considering how ridiculous prices are going to be on RAM. I by the way, I saw like 500-600 bucks for RAM right now in some cases. Like it's blown up. It's ridiculous. Like it's not a great time to buy computers. But yeah, a Mac Mini I think would more than adequately suit my need. And there's other options or avenues that I can work with so that I can do work with my Windows computer and my Mac if I got that eventually. So anyway, that's my goal. I mean to get in a big spiel on all of that, but so that was one of the primary things. Tell you what, I talked a bit too much. Why don't you get into one of your things you did this week, MJ, and then I have one more thing I was working on.
I totally agree with you. Everything you said. I just was surprised to hear you say it. I was just like, what? He's trying to sell me a Mac? I mean, what?
I have no problems with Mac. You should know this. It just doesn't
Okay.
quite do what I need it to do most of the time.
Well, you just want to play your games that don't support
That's
it.
the problem.
And a person might be surprised if they actually look at their Steam library. Probably maybe 20% of it is already works on the Mac.
hmm
Because that's just how they developed it. You just didn't notice because you presume everything works on a Windows computer.
And
And
that
you'd
number
probably be
grows.
right. Right. There's also another thing, which I don't know if we have time to get into, but real quick, since we talked about it, since you opened the can of worms, I'll talk about worms a little bit. This is something I heard. It's a rumor. I haven't gone into it enough yet, but um, there's numbers out as far as like how many people run Windows,
hmm
and it kind of became an issue this week, mostly because of the Windows 10 being out of date now. It will never receive any more updates. So that was kind of an issue that comes up, and people, they get been out of shape about it, which I can totally understand because Windows 10 was like the last solid one, and everybody looks at Windows 11 and they're like hating on it, right? I'll run it because I have to, but I hate it,
hmm
because it's nothing but an ad platform. And someone was telling me about it. And they were like, "Yeah, you open up the start menu, and there's an ad there." And I'm like, "Really?" My jaw dropped. I was like, "And you live with that? That's that's okay."
hmm
I, whatever. I mean, I don't see that, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah. So they're talking about like how many people have left Windows,
hmm
and I guess Microsoft put this number out But I meant to verify that because they talk about how many billions of devices are running Windows, and they used to say it was 1.5 billion, and then it went up from there, and it went to like 1 point, and I can't remember exactly, but it's something like 1.7 or 1.8 billion devices that are currently running Windows. I think it was even Windows 10 or Windows 11. So the thing is that this is the first year where it dropped suddenly, and so it was dropping back to like 1.2 billion, and people were like, why? And they were coming up with all these reasons. And so the article I was reading was showing all these reasons. And it tried to defend Microsoft by saying, well, those are people that are just not upgrading from Windows 10. They took their Windows 10 machine and got rid of it, and they bought a new one. So that's why you don't see that old one active anymore. People have quit giving their old computers to their kids, which is another thing. They've also stopped using computers. Instead, they go for a tablet. So you've still got a customer, they bought a Surface. You just don't see that computer anymore, so it went away. So now they're technically on a tablet or whatever, so it doesn't count as a computer, I guess. So there's like lots of little reasons why they were not counting as a computer. And then there was also like way down at the bottom, of course, the people that have left and gone to Mac. And what could cause that? And then of course there's what came out 2 weeks ago, which was the Apple Neo, the laptop Neo, which is like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I think everything I've
everybody's
seen is awesome. Yeah.
everybody's stunned by it. I mean, you think about it, it's a processor that comes in your iPhone 16. Basically, it's iPhone 16 processor, but it handles like AAA games. Like there
Maybe not
is
super well, but yeah.
no, it's fine. People have said, "Oh, probably not good," and then they go try it.
It's okay.
It's okay, as in that's just fine. I'll deal with that. Like Cyberpunk. A lot of people play Cyberpunk. It's a AAA game, right? AAA game. Well, it's made for Mac. So people play it and they're like, this is really good. Like, I'm on ultra settings and it's fine. And it's not burning my legs. There's no fan that came on because there's no fan. And then they got done playing a session and they realized that they were unplugged from the wall and they still have 70% battery left after an hour of gaming. So it's like, wow. Okay, anyway, this is not a hardware channel, so
Conversation.
we'll get back to it. But I got to talk a little bit, so now it's your turn if you want to mention your other thing.
No, it's fine. It's fine. And I will say the Neo, like I personally will consider. Right now I rock an iPad Pro because I wanted something mobile that I could reasonably do some work on. So I have a little keyboard with it and everything, and it works fine. I would consider downgrading from the Pro because honestly, for the price of the Pro, I could get a Mac or an iPad Air and a Neo, and it'd be about the same price. And that would give me a traditional laptop for production related stuff, and I'd still have my iPad for easier on the go stuff. I don't really rock laptops anymore. I've never been a fan of laptops. I understand Apple's laptops have been very good for a long time, but again, just going back to general use case, it didn't really, at the time, it didn't really suit my needs as far as a primary computer. But I have a primary computer that works great for me. I love my current PC, but having potentially an Apple laptop at a reasonable price, and then having a reasonable priced iPad that's not just the cheap base model, and cheap is relative, of course, because they're still good quality, but something more powerful than just the base. I would consider doing that personally, because that would honestly suit my entire use case, and that's not including the potential for the Mac Mini for replacing my server computer. So
that brings up a question in my mind, though, real quick. What do you not like about a laptop? What keeps you out of a laptop?
My experiences with most laptops is unless you're spending $2,000-$3,000 on a laptop, you get maybe 3 years out of it. Even and I've seen this time and time again. Unless you really fork out a lot of money um for that. It's just, to me, it's not really, and it's not as powerful. No matter what you do with a laptop, it's never going to be as powerful as a desktop. Uh, that's just, I mean, from my experience, that's just how it is. Uh, they do a lot to make it feel like the laptop's as powerful, but generally it's not the case. So for that reason, investing a buttload of money on a laptop just doesn't make sense to me. But if, again, the appeal of the Neo is great quality, and that's what appeals to me at a good price. I would highly recommend a Neo to anybody who is not a hard gamer. Like, the Neo will suit you just fine for everyday use. Like, it's perfect. But if you are a gamer, it's probably not your best option. If that's your use case, it works well for gaming. Like, it's more surprising than most. Like you were saying, it's
It's shocking.
way
Yeah,
surprising. It's
it's shocking
shockingly
that
good.
it's okay. Yeah,
But that doesn't mean it can run as at the best possible quality. And
right.
that's really important for most people, because a lot of gamers, it's not just gaming. They're running maybe recording software. They're running voice chat software. They're doing all these other things as well. So you got to factor that in. There's a lot more resources that go into
Sure.
a true gaming setup. So Neo's great, and it'll work especially well for the everyday user. And if you're a gamer, you can do it. But I've heard something about that the Neo could potentially replace Chromebooks as the go-to for schools at the price
Right,
point that they're
right. I
selling at.
have heard.
Like,
Yep.
which is actually really cool. That goes to show how well they are. Boy,
Yeah,
I feel like we got way off gaming topic and went right into hardware. I'm sorry
a little
about
bit.
that.
Yeah. Well,
But you know what?
it's kind of what we looked at this week. I mean, both of us have
Yeah.
probably been surfing about this, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you not more than one web search, like looking at things,
Mhm.
right? So it is kind of what we did this week. I grabbed it.
Yeah, it is. It
Apparently,
really
you've
is.
been researching getting a new laptop or something. I don't know.
Mostly it was the Mac Mini, but I've been looking at that for a while. I just don't have the funds for it right now, but eventually I would like to do that.
I'll
The
just
other
throw this out
stuff would
there.
just, yeah.
My wife, I bought her the MacBook Air,
Mhm.
and that was in 19. No, I'm sorry, not 19. 2019. 2019.
Mhm.
She won't let me replace it.
Mhm.
She loves it.
That's good.
And I reach for it and I'm like looking at the about page and I'm like trying to figure out when it was purchased or whatever. She goes, "Don't replace it. I want it. Keep it." And I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay, okay." But you realize how old that is now, right?
Yeah.
Six
I mean,
years old.
even Apple devices will start to show their ages. You gotta, I mean, it doesn't matter how well something's built, it's gonna start showing its age. It's
This is a
technology.
MacBook Air, right?
Yeah.
It's not something I'd use because it doesn't have the power. Like I've tried, I've like put her in, Minecraft, Java
Mhm.
Minecraft, like, and I was playing it, and it was,
Mm.
you definitely like need to run Optifine and get it going really good, like tweak it,
Mhm.
and then it would run well. But you couldn't like vanilla it. It's
Yeah.
a little bit underpowered for that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
she loves it. All she does, she just standard user, web surfing, email,
Yep.
writing a little bit, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
she's that use case. And yeah, you're right. It's the use case that Apple puts out when they put out the Neo is student, writer,
Mhm.
business. Just doing your, away from home, doing your business. And media consumption as well.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely good at that. So it still has the great speakers, like
Mhm.
knock you out speakers and
The
microphone and all
monitor.
that. So and it can have an external monitor if you want, that kind of thing.
Well, no, I'm just saying, even the screen, like,
Oh, the
I heard
screen.
this,
Yeah.
the screen on the Neo is just as good as a lot of the stuff they put out. It's still that OLED screen that's phenomenally
Yeah.
good. Like, they really didn't skimp too much. Like, they had to skimp in some areas just to keep the price point low, but man, the stuff that they chose to skimp on
Yeah.
were probably perfect and ideal.
Yeah.
I highly recommend LTT, like watching some of their videos on Neo. They really go into it, and it's kind of fun to see primarily PC guys raving about this Apple product. I love it.
Yeah, I watched that video and I was like, wow, he's sure liking it.
Yeah.
But
I think
he
anything that's
he makes a
pro
good point.
consumer. Yeah.
He makes
When
a
you
good
go
point
pro
that
consumer,
Apple
it's
did it.
yeah,
There's nothing out there
definitely.
like this. You cannot
No.
get this anywhere else. Not for
Hmm.
this price point. And you look at that price and you're like, okay, they skimped on a lot. And then you run it and you're like, oh wow, no, they didn't skimp. No.
Not really, no, not
So
too much.
yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of talking my wife into it, but
Yeah, yeah,
we'll we'll see. There's nothing wrong with her computer, and we're almost at 7 years, right?
yeah. That's pretty good.
Wow, it still gets updates. It still gets updates.
Yeah. Yeah, you can count on Apple for stuff like that, and that's very important. So anyway, just to back into the gaming topic, unless you had more to throw in there, MJ.
No, reel it back in. Reel it back
Reel
in.
back in bag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just a little something else. And I get into this mode. We're already at 20 minutes, and we haven't even left our what's the
The
we've
next
done.
ones will be quick. You know.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's a light week this week. So again, I'm still trying to learn how to do a little bit more modeling with some art assets that I'm trying to create. And again, it's for a game that I'm really wanting to make. I'm not trying to make a ton of assets, but I really need to get down how the software works. I am using Blockbench. Blockbench has a really great simplistic modeling techniques, and I actually really like how you can make it look, even though it's a slightly more blocky, you can make it look really good. And that's what I want to do. I want to make a game utilizing a software that I have some familiarity with, and that will help me out. Uh, I've been wanting to do a crossover with pixel art, but as of right now, my skill set really isn't pixel art. Like, I'm just not great with the animation related. I could probably create a sprite, but not a sprite sheet. Getting the movement down and everything is not a skill set that I really have right now. And quite honestly, timing. Like, if I actually want to try to make something, I need to kind of focus on what's in my wheelhouse, what's my strong suits. And right now, I have a lot more experience with Blockbench, messing around with that software. So I have currently made the decision to focus mostly on that. They're not saying I won't maybe do pixel art one day, maybe, I don't know. But I'm gonna try to use that software, a Blockbench, for modeling now for the game, primarily. Um, so yeah, I was just working on that. I haven't really worked on the game itself. I'm mostly just trying. I just want one character. Like, I just want one character that is got a couple simple animations to it, and if I can get that, then I'm gonna be happy. I may have to make one other character, or I could just use a simple box to represent it. That's fine too. Um, but then that's my plan. Then I'm gonna start really trying to work on the game. But I just wanted to get something accomplished. I was telling my wife, it's very frustrating for me because it feels like it takes forever for me to get into something, and by the time I'm finally starting to get into it, it's too late and I have to go to bed. And then I feel like all that progress I was trying to make just was gone. Uh, and it's hard to explain. I think I just have like a personal mental block. My wife thinks I might have a little bit of ADHD, which is possible because it's hard for me to focus. But when I am able to get going on it, like, I feel good. I'm really happy. When I was playing around with scripting with AI, like, it felt good. Like, I was like, man, I feel like, granted, I'm using AI, but it feels like I'm getting some stuff done, something accomplished. And it was awesome. And I think that was helping to motivate me. And now I'm
Mm.
like taking a step back, like, okay, AI is not going to do my artwork for me. Like, I don't want AI to do that. I want it to help me out. I want it to give me an inspiration for things, but it's not going to be what I use to make my assets. That was something I decided on. Which obviously that means that's a lot of work. But going back to some previous conversations we've had, you don't want to get too much into your assets right away because you need to get the game functioning. So,
Right.
yeah. Anyway,
Minimum
so
viable product. Yeah.
that's right. But
I
that's
mean,
kind of
after
what I was
after you're
looking on.
done, you go back and you spend time on the things you love.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
idea.
And I think I got to get that mentality going again. It's a back and forth with me. I have been trying, but it's just getting stuff accomplished is not easy for me.
I
So
understand.
I'm trying to get to that point.
Believe it or not,
So
I understand more than you might realize, because there's actually a phenomenon that they found that engineers have this, where when you look at an engineer's day, they have to schedule time for things, and they have to do it in half-day increments, because
mm,
by the time you've gotten into something where you can start to understand it, and then you can get some things accomplished, and then wrap it up, it's been 4 hours. And so that's why they break up every day into 4 hour increments. And so you basically have 8 of these, 8 to 10 per week that you can do, because you have to spend time in meetings, and you have to spend time, break or long lunch or talking to your boss or whatever else. But if somebody comes up and interrupts you during those 4 hours, and they say, "Hey, could you work on my project, or could you tell me what I'm doing wrong?" And you have to go to their screen and look at theirs and help them through a problem. You come back to your stuff and you're lost, right? You'll never get that
and
back. You just spent
and
3 hours into this. Yeah,
motivation drops too. Like that's
right,
another thing I
right.
found out. My
You're done,
motivation
right?
gets killed. Yeah.
Yep. That
It's
that's
really sad.
exactly that's exactly what happens to engineers, and that's why you don't mess with them. Like, you
Mm,
only mess with them at lunch, at the
hmm,
beginning of the day, lunch, and the end of the day, because in between they're in those little 4 hour increments, and it's not exactly 4 hours. It's 3 hours and some change. But that's what you're feeling right there, is that if
mm,
it takes that long to get into it, and then you're really solving the problem, you're really understanding the problem, and as long as no one interrupts you, you'll complete it. And then by the time
mm.
it's over, you're 3.5 hours, and you're like, "Hey, that got it working, yay!" And you get up and you're like, "Wait a minute, how's it night?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to what time is it?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because your brain is just so into it. That happens so much. So that's why they say that engineers work in 4 hour increments. Do you know how the increments that managers work in?
Mm-mm.
30 minutes.
Oh, really?
30 minutes. Yep. Managers and other types that are like middle management, they block out a day in 30-minute time frames, and that's where they go bug somebody, they go observe somebody, they go supervise, they go to a meeting. It's 30-minute increments is how they break up their time for the week. Because if you think about it, you've got 7 days. How many little tiny 30-minute windows do you have to get something done? You have a ton of them. They love
Hmm,
that.
hmm,
But for an engineer, you cannot do that.
hmm.
That will just make
Oh,
them angry.
thanks
Yeah,
for
it's
making
kind of
me
a
feel smarter. I mean,
it's
I
kind of a
guess I have
theory. Yeah,
engineer
yeah.
issues. No, I'm just kidding.
It's it's a real thing.
Hmm,
It's a real thing. It's documented. Yeah. I mean,
interesting.
that may be what you're feeling. Yeah.
Hmm. It sounds like it just from your description.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a long time to get into things, and in any interruption, you're just derailed. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's pretty awful. Yeah. It's a pretty awful experience.
Yeah.
But it's really good though if you're at 3.5 hours and you just fixed it. You just found the problem. That's pretty awesome. I mean, talk about
Yeah.
the rush of what is
Feeling
it?
good.
Serotonin, or
Endorphins.
what is it? Endorphins and whatever else. Like, whoa, there they are. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah. So my week, I'll be pretty short, I guess, because I haven't done much with Hightail.
After
Um,
30 minutes of talking, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. I didn't do much Hightail. I have been playing Timberborn, which I
Hmm.
talked about, because it finally came out. The 12th, which is 2 days ago, it came out, and so I started back into it a little bit, and I kind of looked at it, and they tweaked some things, so it's different. Like it wasn't just because the day shifted that you have a new version and you can go play now. It's not that. It's they actually did a final fix on things, so like they put the final polish on it, and so it's been pretty nice. I kind of like it. They didn't tweak the levels, the starting levels, so the starting levels are kind of similar to what the starting levels were before, and I was kind of hoping they would kind of maybe put some variation in, or maybe randomize it, But
Mm-hmm.
either it's not randomized or it's not randomized very much because it's kind of the same. You just pick. They've got like this list of things you can pick, and that's it. I kind of wish they'd randomize it a little bit. Give you something variations to work with, but they
Right.
don't. It's probably due to the mechanic about the water.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they probably can't randomize it too much because of the mechanic of water being needed, at the certain level. But anyway, that's probably it. So I have been playing Timberborn. The only other thing I've done this week is I've always kind of looking for an e-reader, and I really love the idea of having a small e-ink. You know what e-ink is, where it just flashes on the screen and that's it.
Yeah.
So the device flashes a page on the screen and then goes to sleep
Mm-hmm.
until you hit the next button, next page, and then it flashes on the screen and then goes to sleep again. So those things last like a month before you need to recharge them. Like I guess Amazon makes a lot of them. Other
Kindle.
places,
Yeah.
Kindle, yeah. So they're real popular because of that e-ink. Because the e-ink is like standard paper, where it doesn't keep you up at
Mm-hmm.
night. It doesn't cause your brain to stay awake too long. So they say e-ink's good for that. So I want an e-ink display that's not going to break the bank, because I look at the prices of them and I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm angry
Mm-hmm.
that costs $400 to get a decent one that's fast, zippy, where when you
Yeah.
flip a page and it flips, um, and also lasts, a good 12, 15 days battery, and is the good size, maybe with some options for backlighting, stuff like that. I mean, touchscreen. I want all those options, and I want it for way less than $400. And it's like, I
Yeah.
know it's possible, and I get the impression that maybe I could build one. And there have been people that have built one, right? They have done it, and they've done it for like $50. So $50 worth of parts, and they make their own e-reader. And I'm like, well, I'm not that good. I can solder, but man, I'm gonna mess it up, right? So
Mm.
I've been kind of looking for one, and I found two that were interesting. So one was the XT e-ink. So I bought it, and it was only $69 plus shipping, I think. So it comes from China. You get it, and I'm very disappointed
Mm.
because when I do things like, I've got a lot of ebooks or EPUBs. PDFs look fine, except they're really tiny because the screen's like that, but it looks good. PDFs look good. But EPUBs, which I have a lot of EPUBs to read, most of my books are EPUBs. It scrambles them, like it can't view
Mm.
it correctly. And maybe it's because my EPUBs I'm looking at are kind of a different version, so it scrambles it. But I have found another one that was on Amazon, and it was 80 something dollars. I can't remember exactly, 85 maybe. And it was called an OBook 5. And it is pretty zippy. It's about the same size, kind of small. PDFs look great, and EPUBs look pretty good too. They're not scrambled, right? However, I am having a terrible time getting stuff over to it because it does this little connection thing where it connects and it sees the drive, and then after you copy over like one big book, it disconnects.
Hmm.
So like, something's either weird with it, it's not working right, or I don't know. But I've looked online, and a lot of people have the same experience. They're like,
Hmm.
well, you can make it a little better by doing this. And I'm like, I don't want it a little better. I want it to work well,
Right.
like it's supposed to.
It's the whole point
I
of it.
even I even put together a VM running Windows to connect to it to see if it would help with running Windows. But no, it's the same. It it'll copy something over, and then it'll get tired, I guess, and it'll say, "Okay, I'm going to go to sleep now." That was a whole book I just went through and copied over. I'm like, "Come on." Anyway, I've got my stuff copied over. It just took a while,
Hmm.
and they look real good. So maybe this one will do ish, you know. So anyway, that's what I've been working, and that took way less than 30 minutes.
That yeah, I think I took too much time in our beginning segment. I'm so sorry about that. Well, maybe people thought it was
It's
entertaining.
okay.
Right,
It's
right.
okay. Not a big deal. So for Minecraft, there's a bunch of little tiny things. Let's get to the news, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so Minecraft. Um, I've looked through it, and there's just a ton of tiny little things. Is there
Mhm.
anything that stuck out to you?
You know, just looking at simple things, like they have some changes. that have to do with matching things to Bedrock. I think it said dismounting spear thresholds for spears to match Bedrock. I mean, I don't know exactly what that means personally, but I mean that's apparently something that they wanted to have more connection to.
Have you used the
Um,
spear?
just a little bit. It seems okay. I haven't really played around too much with it, but
I
yeah,
didn't like it, but whatever. I
I'm,
tried.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's got specific use cases, but yeah, I don't know. But I think the trades thing is definitely one of the most interesting out of the pre-release two here. Uh, do you want me to just talk about it quick here, or do you want to talk about it?
If you want to go through some, I can go through some because there's a couple of things I found interesting, which I'm
Okay.
not sure if it is a big deal. But did you understand the Ender Dragon thing where it talked about how if it says dragon death time, if it's 200 or greater, they don't disappear. So
Let
do
me
you know what that
see.
means with
Ender
the Ender
Dragon.
Dragon? So in other words, if you can't defeat him within 200, what? I don't know. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I didn't look into it. So
I'm not. Oh, you can click. Oh, let me just see if I click on it if it explains it. Let's see.
apparently it was a bug. I see.
Yeah.
So they just fixed the bug, is what they're talking about. I gotcha.
Yeah, okay. It's saying it. Yeah, it basically the dragon is summoned with a dragon death time tag set to 200 or greater. It infinitely drops experience orbs and never disappears. So the only way to
Wow,
remove the Ender Dragon from the world to prevent it from creating lag is to edit world data. Okay, so
sounds like a
that was
feature.
what people do, right? And it says this behavior was introduced in 1.17 pre-release 1. So that was a little while ago.
It's always been
And
there.
apparently, yeah, and they must have finally squashed that bug. Interesting.
People, people have been cheating with that.
Somehow, yeah. I know one thing I thought was pretty cool was the trades. So it said the master librarian will now have 3 available trades to ensure that an enchanted book trade is always offered when using the rebalance experiment. So they have been talking about rebalancing how trades work with villagers for a while. And what they've been talking about has not really made people super happy about the possible trade changes, because I think Mojang's thing is they want it to be, I think, a bit more realistic, maybe to some degree. I don't know how, realistically, air quotes, but people like how they're able to do it right now with re-rolling and getting certain trades that they really need. I kind of agree with the people more than Mojang, because with a game like Minecraft, it is a time investment. No matter what, if you're going to be playing Minecraft, you're investing time. And time is very important because we only have so much time in a day. We only have so much time in a week. We only have so much time in our lifetimes. So respecting our time is very important. If you're going to take a feature that allows people to get to certain aspects of the gameplay that they like, with them feeling like they're accomplishing it, and you're taking that away and possibly making it a lot harder, maybe take even longer, there's a point where making something feel more realistic, or however you want to put it, and but influencing time doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it's just coming from an old dude who realizes the value of your time. I don't know. But I think there's some balance that needs to happen there, that a lot of game developers in general, not just Mojang, but in general, could take a lesson from. You know, respect your players' time, even if it means that the feature isn't as realistic, or maybe as balanced as you might think it should be. If you doing those things creates a huge time sink to the player, maybe that's not a good thing. So just my personal feelings on it. But it's up to them. They own the game. It's their baby. They got to do what they feel like they need to.
Well, they can railroad it too into the ground,
Mhm. That's true.
and nobody would want that. I wouldn't want that.
Nope. No.
And yeah, I totally agree with you as far as the time aspect of it is. Yeah, we need to be able to experience what you experience. Their game is designed that way. It's designed so that if you want to avoid the scary stuff, you can.
Hmm.
If you want to play that way, you can. If you want to go straight to scary, you can. That's okay. So they're letting you do what you want to do. So if a person wants to invest a whole bunch of time and build Taj Mahal, great. If they don't want to invest the time, but they want something Taj Mahal-ish, well, then you can get close and not having invest that time. But if you're taking more of my time to do the same thing I used to do, that's wrong. Because now I know you're messing with me. You just want to pull my time out of me. So yeah,
Hmm.
who'd want that, right? I can agree with that, especially as a person who has like a real job. Not that I have a real job, but a real job where it takes your time. I definitely have a time-consuming job, so
Yeah.
it does take time. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else on the news you
Nothing
popped out
personally
at
that I
you?
saw. There wasn't a ton with Minecraft. There's just a couple little nuggets that I thought was interesting.
I mean, seems like some video things that got fixed, which I imagine those things being very good. Yeah, but also kind of like, oh, okay, great. Glad you fixed that. There's one thing about the cats, though, that I thought I read this one and I was like, man, that has got to be annoying. And to finally know where your cats are disappearing to, because apparently, if you hooked them, it says untamed cats on leads disappear when attached to a fence post. See, I would be really upset.
Mm.
Like, where's my cat? Because I know he was here and I had him chained to this fence post. That would be upsetting. But, well, okay. I guess someone fixed that. Good.
Hmm.
All right. What about Hightail? There was nothing, right?
Not really. I mean, they have their own little pre-release thing, but they don't really send you news on it.
Hmm?
As far as I can tell. So I know there's some guys that have been playing it, and then they're kind of reporting on it in their YouTube videos, but um, I didn't really have the time to really go through a bunch of videos just to try to pick out some highlights. So we'll just put a pause on that. I know we're going to get an update soon, and so maybe next week we'll be able to get into some more Hightail news
Okay.
that will actually be released to the primary release instead of just a snapshot type thing.
Yeah, I do expect an update. It'll probably drop tomorrow when we're done with this episode.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on then. Tidbit of the week. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay, so we actually have two. MJ has one, and I have one. One thing I just saw that I thought was kind of interesting, and that's for those that like the game Arc Raiders. So I don't play this game. I don't really know the game really at all. But I saw a news article on it, and it was saying that um, on release of this game, they had a fair amount of the characters utilizing AI voice actors. So that was just what they had going for them. I don't think this is a huge deal. And I think the way that Arc Raiders is handling it is a good thing. So their latest update, their latest patch, a lot of those AI voice actors have been removed and then they've been replaced with real voice actors. So if you're trying to get a product out, and because number one, you need to start making money off of this project in order to make all your work worth it. But if you're planning on supporting it, it's okay to, I think it's okay to utilize AI a little bit in the beginning, but take that next step. Okay, now that we have it working where it needs to, we have some of the voice acting is AI, yes, but now we can focus on refining it a little bit. So let's get a real voice actor and let's swap it out. So I think this is a good thing. What's your opinion, MJ? Do you think like AI voice acting is fine? Do you think it needs to be adjusted? Do you think it should be temporary, or do you think they should just not use it at all?
I think it's a respectable approach what they did. That they threw in something kind of a temporary placeholder, got something done, and then it's okay. You can get through it, and then later, you actually really spend some money on
Yeah.
on a real voice actor. So to me, that shows that they love their game
Hmm.
enough to reinvest in it, and so they're
Yeah.
gonna make it better.
Hmm.
So you see that with games. You see that with games that they're not just done with it. They're gonna keep doing a little bit more on it and make sure that it gets better to where they like it. So
Hmm.
that's a good approach. Actually, I can't be critical.
Nice. So yeah, that was just a little tidbit I saw in the news. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but that's just something I pulled out. How about you, MJ?
There's a little bit of news on one of my favorite games, which is The Long Dark. There is going to be the last final episode. They finally put a date on it, and it's March 31st. So March 31st, you'll be able to download at least, well, you can never nail this down. Like they even admit this in the little blurb that they put out, that they say I guess they push it up to Steam and say, here's our final update or here's our new one. And what they do is they let Steam do the updating. And so, you may not get your update for a day or two, or sometimes a few hours later or something like that. Anyway, they said they can't guarantee it, but around March 31st is going to be the final episode out. And so that final episode will finish up the story. So you'll wrap up the story. But they also warned, don't expect anything else to change. Like, don't expect at least not right away. Like some people, they, as we've gotten used to the cadence of releases, we've always benefited from anytime there was a story release or an update on a story, we would always benefit in survival because we'd now get that area to play around in, or at least a short time afterwards, we'd get that area to play around in. This time, they're saying they might do that, but it's not guaranteed. And they said it'll make sense when you're in it because it's just not going to be that great of an area. The whole thing about this last final episode is going to be finishing the story. So you see a lot of character work, a lot of stories wrap up, a lot of little loose ends finally get tied down. So you'll have those conversations to be able to do that. Plus, you'll be able to play as both. You'll be able to play. There are parts of it that you play as Will, the male character, and then part of it you play as Astrid, the female character. So there's both. You get to do both of them, but you don't get to do. It'll just be parts of it that are dedicated to that person. Mm-hmm. So you'll get to play both of them again. You'll get to feel what it's like. Again, just like the last couple episodes, you play a whole episode of Astrid, you play a whole episode of Will, So it's nice to be able to do both in one, and the way they're going to wrap it up is just wrap it up. They also warned that you might want to, if you don't know the story, go back to 1 and play episode 1 through whatever. And they said, yeah, expect that to be quite a marathon, right? Because getting through all those stories, right, it's going to take you time. Mm-hmm. They're meant to take you time. And it warned also that when you do that, please be kind because that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So when you're playing that, you're going to see artifacts. You're going to see things where it's like, wow, they really improved the mechanic later on, didn't they? You're going to see lots of little things like that you're like, wow, didn't they fix that? It's like, yeah, they left it in for the story because the story, you're not going to redo the story, So, so they said, be kind because it's still there. We haven't changed any of that stuff. And they said, ultimately, though, once you get to this episode, that's all gone. It's all pretty modern. So all the artifacts and everything will be really nice. It'll all real blend together very nicely. So it'll be a real good, high-quality work. So I look forward to it. I don't feel the need. I've got a character that I've basically played all the way up to that point. So unless I've lost it somewhere, which they save everything out on Steam. So I've got it there as far as I know. So I don't have the need myself anyway to go back, but I'm going to jump right in on 5. But if you need to, if you need to go back a while, go ahead and do that. You could get that done. Go ahead and play those through right now. And that way, when it drops March 31st, you'll be ready.
Maybe I should do my own little live stream of it and when it releases and just play it all the way through. Cause I've still never played it all the way through, at least what they have released. Maybe that'd be a fun live stream option. I think I just got to episode 2, just a little bit into the bear storyline.
Oh, 3 is great. 3 is one of the best. Yeah.
So I have to do that.
Yeah. I think 3 is where you play as Astrid. And then 4th, you're back to Will, I think. I can't remember now, but the one with Astrid was pretty good. You get to play, medic. You're running out and helping people get well, a plane wreck, getting their body and picking them back and saving them. So, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I play mainly, survival, but I do play the story. Like I'll do it once and then that's it. I'll never see it again. But they did say expect 20 hours-ish play. So that's a pretty good deal. Especially since everybody's getting this for free. Like if you bought the DLC for the story, you get this for free. So You get an additional 12 to 20 hours of play. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad at all.
All right, next is the tool of the week. Tool, website, program, mod, whatever you want to call it. We each pick one. So let's go with you, Blue.
So for me, it's another mod for Minecraft, and it's called Zero's Minimap and World Map. So personally, I grew to love having a mini map in Minecraft because it really gives you a good overview of the area that you're directly in. I actually have always liked that in games, period. So a lot of games will have a mini map to them. So for that reason, I think it's a great tool. There's a lot of different settings and different things you can do that will help you. They add, you can have little sprite characters on the map that represent the mobs in the game, so you can actually see them as like an entity radar. All these different things. So if you're really having a hard time finding something, and if you keep a close eye on your radar, you might see that one of those things is in the area, so you can kind of run out and grab it and whatever you need to do. So I think that's pretty cool. There's a mod. Speaking of what I was talking about, it's called Cobblemon. It's a Pokemon Minecraft mod, and having a tool like that's really nice if you're out hunting for some Pokemon to catch, because you can see what they are on the radar, and it'll help you locate them a little bit easier. So if you're not the kind of person that, or if you're the kind of person that feels that's a little cheaty, um, that's fine. That's you. You probably won't want to use this, but if you're someone who's like, I don't really care, it'd be nice to find something a little bit easier. That it's a nice tool to have. So that's my tool of the week. Simple and short.
Cool, cool. I used to not like mini maps because of being a visual distraction, but now that you can kind of change them and you can make it smaller,
Mm-hmm.
I've been good with it. I actually kind of enjoy it. But yeah, I like their mini map. Mine is called browserleaks.com. So you can go there, you can play with it, you can see what your browser is showing the world. And I think most people find this pretty shocking, especially when I show them personally, because I tell them, I can already tell what kind of computer you're running just because you visit my website. And they're like, no, you're just a web browser. I'm not giving you information. I always say no to cookies or whatever. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Here's what I can learn about your web browser and about you. And so I tell people to go to this place and kind of see what they're leaking out. So that's why it's called Browser Leaks. So take your web browser, your favorite one, and go to browserleaks.com and then kind of pick around and look at what they can see. So it'll tell you what kind of Java you can run. It'll tell you your IP address you're coming from, which everybody knows. Everybody has an IP address, so it's your ISP's IP address, right? You can also get reports of what kind of fonts that you are allowing, which I have mine limited because of visual issues. I don't want certain fonts displayed to me because I can't see them. I can't read them. So like I take those and turn them off. I can't have those. So don't ever present to me these fonts is what I'm basically telling them. But you can look at that and see what they're seeing, like when they get that geolocation. Like, can I tell based on what you're giving me what I can see about you? I can definitely determine what OS you're running, and very likely what browser and what version of browser you're playing with, you're using. So I'll leave it there. You can go check it out and play with it. It's very interesting and to most people eye-opening.
Interesting. Yeah.
All
I
right,
love
we are. Go ahead.
I love that you get into security stuff so much, because these are things I've never even known.
Yeah, that's shocking to a lot of people. In my classes, I show these things off, and people are pretty amazed. They either come away with like a newfound respect for IT, or they come away with a renewed new level of paranoia. And in which case I have done my job. I've
Yeah.
helped you ascend to a new awareness, and that's what I call paranoia.
Yeah.
All right, 56 minutes in, 55 minutes. We're getting to our primary topic. So
Oh
I'm
man.
going to have to let you run this because I am not a big VR person. I don't really have it,
That's
and
okay.
there I did write a little bit of notes in here, but only because I look at it as a fourth wall thing, which
Yeah.
I'll explain that. And I feel like it's that kind of
Hmm.
in a mechanical type of way. But I'll let you definitely go first because, yeah, I have no experience of any real degree. I mean, I've played with it
Yeah.
like we have an IT store in our where I work, so you come in, but you can buy stuff. And one of them was we had those VR sets for a while, and so I
Mhm.
threw it on and played with it. But other than that, I have no
Yeah.
experience.
So VR is a good topic in general, just because in a lot of ways this could potentially be a next. I don't know if you want to say evolution of gaming. You can put it that way. Because it offers a degree of immersion that you don't get just from looking at a screen. Um, I'm not saying it would replace regular gaming because there's a lot of caveats to that. Um, but it is that a different level. So with a VR headset, you are literally put in the environment, so you can look around. Granted, what we have today is not like full on, like you can see super well. Um, the little screens inside the glasses that show you what you're looking at, they haven't advanced far enough to give you that full feel. So you can kind of see on the sides of you that you have like goggles on basically. Um,
Is that with anybody?
but
Any VR
generally,
headset?
yeah, there's one brand. I don't remember the name of the brand, but it's massive. Like it extends really far out and it gives you a much larger range of view. And people love it just for that, but it's bulkier, it's heavier, it's easier to knock into something if you're not careful. But it does give you a little bit better immersion because you have a better field of view. Uh, so the reason I do bring up VR is, and I feel like it's kind of dropped off a little bit, but it became very popular, a while back, especially with like Valve coming out with their HTC Vive or whatever it was. That was kind of one of the first ones. Issues were is it required a beefy computer to actually be able to run. And not only that, you had to be tethered, which means that you actually had to have a plug that goes from your headset to your computer. Now, you try walking around with a cord hanging off of your face.
Yeah, I am recalling that issue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not convenient. I personally have never messed with that, but I have, or I've personally not had to use that as a primary way of playing. I did a little bit because of experimenting with stuff, but I ended up getting a Quest 2 a while back. And I'll be honest with you, I love the thing. I don't play it much just because it's not something that I'm just drawn to when it comes to playing games. That being said, there are some games I absolutely loved. So, Beat Saber, you can't talk about VR gaming and not talk about Beat Saber. Probably one of the top reasons to have a VR headset. The nice thing about the Quest is they started to make those, number one, completely wireless. Right? Like you don't have to be connected to a computer, it runs everything itself locally, which is awesome. The Quest 2 started with that. And of course they've gotten more since then that have continued to improve the experience. But Beat Saber is number one. You got music, like people love music and people love moving to music, right? That kind of a standard. Then you got lightsabers. I mean, who doesn't love lightsabers, right? So you're hacking away at these notes that are coming at you and you're just trying to get the motion down. The better you get, the better your reaction time is, the faster you can move. And of course, if you can do it at higher levels, you get higher scores. You can play against friends.
You'd hit a
And
trifecta if you had explosions.
there you go. Well, that would
Music,
be interesting.
lightsabers, explosions.
So it's just a fun game, very enjoyable. Second example. Now, this one does not run on the headset by itself. You actually have to have a computer that can run it because it is way more graphics intensive than what the standalone Quest could handle. And that is Lone Echo. So, a little background for me, I am a man who loves space related stuff. Like, if you give me a game based in space with a really good story, all these different things, I am all for it. Lone Echo has got to be one of the most immersive and fun space sci-fi experiences I have ever had. You basically are playing a robot. So you're a robot on a space station around one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn or something like that. And you are basically just one of the robot workers that is like a companion to the human who is stationed at that space station. So you communicate with her, and she asks you to do things, and you do stuff. Well, there's this event that happens, and all of a sudden, all this crazy stuff is going on. The station is failing. You have to complete puzzles in order to get certain parts of the ship or the station running, and you're trying to do all these different things. I have to jump into this game again. I have never finished it. But I just absolutely have never had such a great VR experience before. So number one, and they came out with a sequel too. If you get a chance to see the trailer, do it. Don't watch the trailer for 2 because it gives things away from the first game. If it's something you're interested in, but definitely watch the first trailer. It is amazing. And that is the feel that you get. So if you're a space nut like me, this kind of game is for you. So that's another game I just thought I'd mention. And then finally, there's been a lot of work by the community to get Minecraft running in VR, and it works very well. I've played it a little bit, not a lot. Another caveat to VR is most people can get very susceptible to motion sickness depending on how you play. Beat Saber is one of those games where that doesn't happen because you're not moving around too much. You're just swinging your arms. But when you start walking around and doing stuff like that, you can get a bit motion sick. I don't have a terrible time with that. I do get eye strain though. And that's my biggest issue with VR gaming is my eyes. I can only play for maybe an hour, and then the eye strain is too much. So VR gaming, I think, has a ton of potential. I don't think it's quite there, but I think the amount of effort that's gone into just getting it to where it is now is great, and they just need quite a bit more to make it so that it is fully realized and what we really need in a fully immersive gaming setup. So that is my spiel on VR gaming, along with a few video game suggestions.
Okay, cool. I mean, that game looks amazing. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, wow, that's pretty good sell. You know,
Yeah, that game, the company
Lone
did an
Echo. Yeah.
amazing job. Yeah.
Now it looks like Lone Echo 2 is coming out, or am I looking at
It's
that wrong?
it's been out for a
It's
while.
been out. Okay. So when
Yeah.
you talk about Lone Echo, you're talking about 2 or you're talking about 1?
Number 1.
Okay.
Because I haven't really touched 2, and I have seen the trailer. I wish I hadn't because it kind of gave things away.
Yeah.
But just Lone Echo. Lone Echo 2 is great because they've just refined what they had on Lone Echo 1. So like graphics are
Okay.
a little bit better, all that. But yeah.
Well, I can't say much about VR because I don't have anything. I've never played it. But I do. The only thing I could associate it with my experience was being able to break through the fourth wall, which they call
Mhm.
that the fourth wall, when things break into the real world, right? They also call it other things like real world enhanced gaming or something like that. Niantic did it, where you had to take your phone and walk around, and your phone was like a scanner, and you played the
Mhm.
game by using your scanner, and you walked around with the real world, right? So it's
Mhm.
real world augmentation, I guess. And so
AR. Yeah.
I have played that. Augmented reality, right? So I have played that a lot. I played Niantic quite a bit, and then they went on to develop other things like Pokemon and Pokemon Go and other things like that. I never got into Pokemon Go, but Niantic I did play. What was the name of that game? I can't remember, but it was
In ingest or in
you're close. You're
I
real
not
close.
ingest. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll think of it as soon as we finish the podcast. But I know exactly where you're going. Where you basically played the Resistance, or you played, the Enlightened or whatever it was, and you're like doing real things with real people. So you join the Resistance, or you join the Enlightened, and then you figure out what it is. Um, like which one do you want to play? And then after you're
Mhm.
playing it, well, you're like Ingress.
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 I was close. I said
That's what it was.
ingest.
Yeah, I was like, I know you're close. I know that's close. Okay, Ingress. Okay, so yeah, I played that for a while, and it was just fun. But those
Yeah.
fourth wall experiences are what you're talking about. And there is one of the game that I know broke that fourth wall in a different way, and I thought this was a really cool mechanic, and that is A Quiet Place. So if you've seen the
Oh
movies,
yeah.
there's a game now, and it's A Quiet Place. And what they do is they have a mode where you can flip on your microphone on your computer. And if you make noise in the real world, guess what happens? You know, so that makes kind of a new flavor of like exciting, because it really makes it real for you. So if you're like sitting there sipping on your Coke or something, and you accidentally knock off the Coke can, you're done with your can of soda or whatever, and you knock the can off. That could be you losing a hour long worth of play. So I mean, that's pretty cool. Like that's ooh, you know.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I thought that's an interesting mechanic, and the
Hmm.
perfect game to take advantage of that interesting mechanic too. But all right, is there anything else we need to talk about?
I think we
I
covered it.
think we're gonna have to just not, right, and just deal with it next time,
I never thought this would be the episode that's the longest.
right? Because we're both so tired and like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Let's get it over with. And then you get to talking about what you like to talk about, and
Yeah.
then that's it. Time just goes away, flies away. All right, so let's talk about next week just a little bit. What are we going to cover next week?
I'm hoping if we can to get a guest, that would be great. We have a few guests lined up. We've talked to them and kind of established what we would like them to do if they're up for it. So next week, I am hoping to get a guest. Uh, if that doesn't work out, we'll probably have a topic on mobile gaming. So that is gaming on your phone or tablet. So you're on the go. A lot of people do that these days. That honestly is probably one
Steam
of
Deck
the
or Steam Deck
no.
or no
Well, Steam Deck you can talk with that can kind of go in hand, but I'm thinking more phone related.
phone.
Um,
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
that has actually become probably one of the biggest of all the gaming systems out there because it's the easiest thing for people to just play a game on,
You already
whatever
have
it
one.
might be. Yeah,
You already have one.
everybody has
Okay.
it. Yeah. So I thought that could be a good topic. If we have a guest next week, we'll save that for another time. But that was definitely something that I thought would be a good thing to discuss.
All right. Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right.
So let's conclude by always our website's available. You can go to our website at MJ and Blue Gaming. That's all spelled out, all one word, and .carrd.co. So MJ and Blue Gaming.card with two R's and CO. We have links there for all our socials, plus you can get to our email, and we're happy if you want to talk about, comment on one of our episodes. Maybe you have something to say. Maybe we struck a personal chord. Well, have it out. We might mention you online. We might not. We may just burn your email, or we may just print it out and laugh on it. We may print it out and throw darts at it. I don't know. I can't promise anything, but you're welcome to send us email. Speaking of email, feel free to do always anytime. Send us that email. We did recent episodes on like the history of gaming. We've done some music type episodes. If you have any comments on those, we're able to take them. So maybe you disagree with something else we said. I can't understand why you would do that because that would make you an idiot. But you might disagree.
Trying to get people
Possible.
to listen, not
I
to
suppose
run
it's
away.
possible. I suppose it's possible that one of us could be wrong sometime.
Right.
I'll admit that. Okay. If you feel like you got some value out of this podcast, please consider supporting us. We do have a buy me a coffee link up there, and we may in the future have other types of links we can take advantage of. Who knows? Maybe we'll join Patreon or something. Every little bit helps us, and we can continue to improve the podcast. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. I have been MJ.
And I am Blue. Have a good one, everyone.
See you next week.